Since day one, we've had a good relationship and contact with most of the people in the team. I've met the team, I've had lunch with the team, we've traveled with the team, and so I'm super happy with the people working at Morpho.
Hey everybody, this is Morpho Manufacturing Reviews. We've got a really special show today. Really excited to introduce everybody to Hamza from Ecobloom. They've been a great client of ours. We've had a lot of fun working with them so far. They've got an amazing product, the EcoGarden, that Hamza is going to introduce us to. And this is really just an opportunity to learn about a really inspiring entrepreneur who's trying to come up with really interesting and innovative solutions to a lot of the common problems we're having right now in sustainability. I'm really excited to have him on the show. Hamza, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, again, thanks for coming on. And why don't you start off by giving us kind of an introduction to yourself, talk about the journey you got to Ecobloom, your background, what brought you here, and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I'm born and raised here in Stockholm, Sweden. This is where we're based, and this is where we have our office. And this is also where the journey started, really, for me. My background is in mechanical engineering, so I love technology. I've always worked with technology and have a big interest and passion for agriculture. So hence the combination of the two worlds that I've managed to kind of combine. And that's kind of what we work and do at Ecobloom. And the journey started almost 4 years ago, actually, and we've been doing all kinds of things ever since. And the first product is the EcoGarden, like you mentioned. It is a IoT-powered and Wi-Fi connected microfarm for your household, based on a nation-grown technique known as aquaponics. So it allows people to grow fresh and organic food at home while being able to monitor and control the whole growing process right from their phone. So it's a way of growing food at home while having this soothing and relaxing effect that aquariums have. So it combines the two different aspects of the world, the aquarium and the grow bed. And then that's kind of what the EcoGarden is. Smart. People see it as an aquarium. Some people see it as a micro farm, but it's a combined version of the two, an aquaponics system. And yeah, it's been an exciting journey since we started.
It sounds like you're one of the few that's managed to intelligently combine your passion with your professional life. So congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's great to work with something you really enjoy doing. So I'm quite fortunate. I am indeed.
So how did you find out about aquaponics? I remember growing up, I heard about hydroponics, which sounded intriguing and also sounded kind of tasteless, honestly. But aquaponics, this seems to be a really innovative way of approaching agriculture right now. Tell us a little bit more about it.
It is, and I mean the two versions are very common today. Or not common, but they're becoming more so. Widely used around the world. Hydroponics or aquaponics is a combination of hydroponics and aquaculture, hence the name aquaponics. So aqua comes from aquaculture and ponics comes from hydroponics. So that's the beauty of an appeal of aquaponics, is the fact that you can utilize the fish waste as the nutrient source for the plants instead of adding nutrients directly into a hydroponic system. So this kind of creates this more natural feel and this more ecosystem type of vibe around growing your own food. So it's quite unique, and in many cases in commercial aquaponic farms you're growing both fish and plants. So that's the beauty and appeal of this specific technique. While in our case we've kind of scaled this version down into a miniature greenhouse / aquaponic system for your home. So you're not growing fish at home. You're using the typical aquarium fish, like betta fish or zebra fishes, etc. While you can grow your own fresh herbs on top of it and control the whole process from your phone. So, yeah.
So what is that most suitable for? It sounds like it's great for an herb garden, but what about, say, growing tomatoes?
I mean, in theory, you can grow anything. However, I mean, you're quite limited depending on the space you have. Now, our system, the EcoGarden, is not a commercial farm. It's a small miniature greenhouse that sits on your kitchen bench or by your desk. So you're limited to what you can grow. Tomatoes, you can. It's a little bit more difficult than, for example, herbs or microgreens or leafy greens, which are the most commonly grown plants in a system like this.
All right. So, that sounds great. Sustainability is wonderful, but, the really important question is, how is the taste?
Well, I guess you have to buy one to try the taste and see how it is. I mean, it's locally produced food. The taste can't get better. It's filled with nutrients, and it's tastier than any plants you'll buy in the supermarket, because usually those plants and fresh herbs that you buy in the supermarket have been traveling for weeks before they ended up on the shelves. So it's quite of a different world to kind of harvest your own herbs right there and then in your kitchen.
So do you see this as potentially being a scalable solution? Like with the EcoGarden, are we eventually going to get to the Shark Tank edition?
Yeah, we keep getting those requests and questions, especially about having sharks too. I don't know, for some reason people wants to see sharks. We might, of course, that's always a possibility. Our dream and vision is always and have always been to kind of bring food closer to the consumer and kind of bringing nature closer to you into your home. So we will probably, at least for some time, focus on these intelligent products for your homes, for restaurants, cafes, hotels, even, etc. That's kind of our main target, and that's where we see big potential as well, bringing the food production closer to you.
So do you see Ecobloom as being kind of, increased variations on a theme with the EcoGarden, or
100%?
100%.
Definitely, absolutely. I mean, we want to be the Apple of micro farms, whether it's for your office or for your home or for your restaurant. It's different versions, both aquaponics as well as hydroponic based products. So we have been currently working on other exciting products we will be launching in the future. So
awesome! We're excited to see what comes next.
Stay tuned.
So how did you get to the EcoGarden? What was the initial concept, the initial design? You launched a crowdfunder. I think you guys raised something like $250,000 on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Tell us about that process.
Well, it's a difficult process, time-consuming as well, but it's been one of the most exciting, parts of this journey. Seeing your idea and vision come to life, starting with the simple prototype. We actually have the generations of EcoGarden right behind me. We can see them here, all lined up nicely behind me. You start off with the simplest MVP, and then you kind of keep expanding and developing on that, until you get to a point where this is, it's time to launch. It's time to make it a reality and bring it to life, and that's where crowdfunding was the choice. And we did, like you said, we raised a good amount on both Kickstarter and on Indiegogo, and that community have been part of this journey ever since, and kind of supported us and really made it possible to bring this to life.
Did you expect it to be as successful as it was?
I want to say yes, but no. I mean, I did believe it would be a success, but not to that extent. And the response have been great. I mean, I never thought that people really appreciated what we did this much. We get emails and people wanting to work with us from across the globe, almost on a daily basis. So I think that's it says a lot about what we do and what people think of us. So it's amazing.
That's awesome. So how many EcoGardens do you have in your home right now, and what kind of fish?
Well, we have in my home, I have 2. In the office, we have maybe 12. We have different. We just set up one the other day, a few days ago actually, and are planning to buy the fish tomorrow. We were discussing what fish we want to buy today. But we have different kinds of combinations of crabs with fish, with snails even, and all kinds of craziness.
Did this lead to a lot of like office tension, like people arguing over, no, we gotta have beta fish?
Yeah, well, that's the beauty too. It kind of creates a relaxing environment too. So there's tension, and then we have this, soothing effect of having aquaponic systems in your environment with the water pouring down and the sound of water and everything. So no, it's
increased oxygen, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry?
It's increased oxygen, if I'm not mistaken.
100%. Increased oxygen, it reduces, stress as well. Science and research have shown that aquariums and fish have that effect, soothing and relaxing effect on your well-being. Even my own research, which I wrote as part of my master thesis project. So it does help and contribute a lot to your environment.
Excellent. Yeah, it sounds like an amazing product. I mean, obviously, we've worked with you to make this happen. But if any of our listeners are interested in getting to know the product better, or hopefully purchase the product, what should they do?
They can go to ecobloom.se. That's where we have the website, and we're actually in the process of migrating. Well, we have already migrated the website to a new one with a web shop and everything, and we're just couple of weeks away from pressing launch. So for now, they can check out the product there, sign up, and just stay tuned until we launch the web shop.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about manufacturing.
Yes, yeah. Exciting.
Okay. So when you first started, you said we got to make this thing a reality. We got to start looking into serious manufacturing. Where did you start looking, and what were the kind of companies that you were starting to find?
Well, combination of going directly to the manufacturer, in this case in China, that's where we've been sourcing the most. And of course also third party or middlemen type of partners like yourself. And I think that was the best choice for us. We got in contact with you guys at Morpho quite early on, and you've been part of this journey for almost 3 years, actually. So I think it's been exciting. It's been very good to have someone that understands the market, the needs, but also the overall process, because producing a hardware product is extremely difficult. If that's something I've learned today, that you should not underestimate the process of manufacturing. It takes a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. So it's good to have someone that's there, that understands the process and that can help with that process, the overall manufacturing process from start to finish.
So what would you say were some of those unexpected challenges that you and your team ended up encountering?
There are many challenges along the way, everything from the language barrier in China because that's where usually most of the misunderstandings happen. It could be about certain details, the designs, it could be about quantity, it could be anything, the color even, that we've stumbled upon those challenges and due to the language barrier. And of course, finding the right people as well. There are, I don't know how many manufacturers in China. So there's an abundance of suppliers and manufacturers, or a lot of them in certain regions. So finding the right one is extremely difficult, because finding one is easy, but the right one is extremely difficult, right? So we've worked with manufacturers that have been that we don't work with anymore because, it turned out not to be, a good relationship, or the product wasn't, as good as we were expecting or hoping for. So, you have to be careful with who you choose. So I think that's also one of the benefits of having worked with Morpho is we have worked directly with their partners, which they trust and have worked with for years. So I think that's a big and important point.
Yeah, it's great to hear that feedback. And how did you find Morpho Manufacturing?
Good. Since day one, we've had a good relationship and contact with most of the people in the team. I've even been in China and been at your office for over a week, sitting there and working with the team. So I've met the team, I've had lunch with the team, we've traveled with the team, and so I'm super happy with the people working at Morpho.
Nice. All right, I think my American English got in the way there. Let me rephrase that question. How did you encounter Morpho Manufacturing and know how to contact us?
I think I saw an ad. I reached out to Morpho that way, and then started the conversations virtually like that, and then kept that that communication relationship alive, and then eventually I decided to fly down and meet the team. So,
all right. So I'm sure a lot of people are curious, and I know listeners both in the West and in China are really curious to hear about your experience coming to China. What did you expect? What did you find? What surprised you? And how was the experience overall?
China is a different world, everything is different about the country, the language, the culture, the weather, everything, the people. So it's an interesting world for sure. I had a good time in China. I stayed there for 2 weeks, and I did my business part of it, but I also try to enjoy and then did some like touristy parts as well. It's a cool country. It's filled with a lot of people too, and recommend people to travel there and just kind of explore the craziness basically in China.
I really like the food.
Not so much the food.
Oh no, that's like my favorite part.
Yeah. Again, it's very, very, I'm not used to that food at all. It's a lot of crazy stuff that I've never seen or heard of before. It's so I did a few McDonald's trips. Let's put it that way.
So I take it you didn't get into the hot pot.
No.
You didn't get a hot pot.
Only during lunch with the suppliers and manufacturers. That's when I really experienced authentic Chinese food. But apart from that, I stayed safe. I chose the safe choice.
Right. All right. Last question for today. Do you have any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, people wanting to get into startups, wanting to get into manufacturing? What kind of sage advice can you offer them?
Well, it depends on what they do, but I think one of the most important advices that I have, usually give others and tell people is to be patient. I think that's one of the most important things. Be patient, and as cheesy and catchy as it might sound, don't give up. I think if you believe in what you do, and if others believe in what you do, it could be a simple, you have some traction or validation. I think it's just, hang in there and keep going, because eventually it will happen. So I think be patient and keep going. And of course, in things like people, in situations like this, try not to do everything yourself. Like, try to get help if you can. It could be internally within the team, with marketing or sales or whatever, or in this case, in manufacturing. If you're manufacturing or producing a hardware product, then most certainly get in contact with someone that understands the market and that knows the process and have done it before. So, yeah, it's my best advice.
Yeah, sounds like solid advice. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure. Like I said, we've had a great time over this 3-year journey working with you as one of our client partners. We know Ecobloom is going to be hugely successful, and we're excited for some of the new products that are on the horizon.
Thank you, Marco. Appreciate it. Nice to be on the show, and I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.